Kendrick Lamar tried to put Andrew Schulz in line in his recent track, however the tables were turned. Both rapper and comedian have got the whole internet heated, especially on Flagrant's latest podcast.
I would make love to him, and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not.
But before we talk about the actual beef, we need to get to the root of all of this. Andrew is known for his unapologetic humor and edgy personality, as one time he called out lesbians for having sex.
You're having sex right now. Isn't lesbian sex that? You just lay on each other or whatever? Take out your little fucking Raphael sword clips and just... But every once in a while you need a Donatello, you know what I mean?
The thing that makes Andrew a successful comedian is he does his homework before doing any event or podcast. In Abu Dhabi, he hosted an event where, before actually going out on stage, he did his research on sheikhs and locals.
Okay, where are y'all from? Which emirate? You're from Dubai. Ah, welcome. How does it feel to be around real money? Soak it up, enjoy it!
Andrew is a co-host of a podcast called Flagrant, which got recognized in a matter of short time. He had guests like Andrew Huberman, Logan Paul, and Whitney Cummings. Recently, Andrew Schulz, under the influence of his ego, crossed lines with the guests he had. On the episode with Whitney Cummings, he mimicked the facial expressions of Whitney Cummings and made her uncomfortable.
This is what it looks like when you're listening. This is you listening, right? This is you. I'm not talking. What do I do with my face?
In July 2024, Andrew called out James and Fuhad from Shits and Gigs on the podcast. These guys have blown up in the past few years for their unfiltered opinions on Gen Z women and men. And we all know Andrew has a history of punching racial jokes on various communities. In this case, he made some jokes at black women.
A guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. Glows up, bro.
I like that.
I like that.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a
step,
beard
they step
because
their dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of.
Now, this wasn't enough, so he called out Kendrick's fans for protecting black women.
Black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's your favorite?
We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
Yo, who gets
That means what?
Hey, let me get the US translation.
Kendrick fans? Get them!
This led to so many fans reacting to them, and their fan following actually declined. Shit and Gigs couldn't tolerate the heat they were receiving, so they released the video apologizing.
If you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast. Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a frankly racist joke. And we were laughing at it. And to give, there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like, it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in those situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you, I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I would smack homeboy in the face, I would say this, I'll do that.
Andrew and his crew reacted to it, and it was clear that Andrew wasn't gonna back up on his jokes.
Anyway, any listeners here that are upset at us, we just want to let you know that you're gonna stay upset. Okay? What we're not gonna do is sit here with our tucked between our legs, apologizing on the podcast for jokes.
This was the last drop that made the cup run over. It caught Kendrick's attention. He replied back in his recent song by writing a line that caught everyone's attention. "Don't let no white comedian talk about no black women. That's law." People started putting two and two together and interpreted that this lyric is targeted at none other than Andrew Schulz because he's been passing down racial jokes and his recent beef with Shin Gigs. Releasing this lyric was like giving air to an intense fire that took the whole internet by storm. Andrew and his crew members sat down on the recent podcast, and Andrew did not let this once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity pass by. Andrew came onto the podcast with really high energy and started dissing Kendrick from the start.
Fine, okay? Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law. Now, technically speaking, if we're going off of grammatic English,
Okay.
he is saying I can talk about black women, and that is law.
Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman.
So he's basically saying all white comedians
Are only allowed to
talk about black women.
exclusively.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're back.
That's what I'm talking about.
Logically, he's got a point over there. Kendrick's breaking his own law. That's hypocrisy.
Okay, the N-words that coon, the N-words that being groomed, slide on both of them. Whoa, that seems like a call to violence.
It does.
Why would he call to, if he's about protecting black people, why would the call to violence be towards the black dudes, not the white guy making the joke?
Well, you gotta understand.
What?
Well, no. You gotta understand.
I snitch, I cooperate, I tell.
Litigate.
Andrew's leveraging everything he can on Kendrick, just like Kendrick leveraged him for views.
What a time to be alive where rappers gotta talk about comedians for clout.
God bless, dude.
Like, we are up right now.
God bless.
The biggest story about the album, outside of the album and people enjoying it, was a sub at a comedian? Yeah. And you don't even gotta say my name and it still makes headlines?
It's crazy.
You're welcome.
By the way, Andrew knew why Kendrick was after him.
They hop on that, dick riding.
He be listening.
Yeah.
He be listening.
Of course he listens, because he specifically, I think, was reacting to, in that Shits and Gigs podcast, which I think they're reacting to, I said something, I asked them if they dated black women, they were like, oh, we date all women or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I go, Kendrick fans, get them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's all it took.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
The look on his face tells that he was waiting for something like this to happen for a long time.
Like, first of all, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, everybody, his security, they will kill me. They will destroy me. They'll find me in the street. They'll fucking cut me up. They'll shoot me. They'll do whatever. I'm not a tough guy. Y'all do. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him, and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only thing he could do.
This is just the start of a fiery whole toast.
Feed him a bottle and make love to him if I wanted to, and there's nothing he could do about it. I might not be hard, dick might just slap soft against his butt.
But you can just beat him up. You don't have to fuck him, bro.
No. We're not doing acts of physical violence over here, bro.
Okay.
That's what
This is an act of sweet love.
This is an act of love.
Oh, you're a pacifist.
I'm saying I could be romantic with him and there's nothing he could do about it.
Andrew's definitely not feeling any shit and has made noise in the industry with this.
Like, the only thing he could do is, after I was finished, like, write some words that rhyme together about it.
Oh, that
Do you know what I
album would
mean?
be fire.
Like,
That would be a
and
good
that
album.
would, oh my God.
He can make some calls. Yeah,
You want
That
to talk
he
about another album called Damn. Sit down. Reincarnated. Ask I penetrated.
Later down in the podcast, when things cool down, he explains his real concern with Kendrick.
This is the problem, is like, when you're on your way up, nobody looks at your hypocrisy because they want you to be on the throne so bad. Like, naturally, human beings, we all have this. Like, we look at the number two and we're like, I see myself in you. Go out there, go get it. Once you're on the throne, all we see is hypocrisy. It's like, anytime the person is in power, and clearly Kendrick is number one right now, anytime he's out there, we're looking back at what he's done and we're like, oh, you're this woke guy, but then you really do shit with people that are completely inconsistent with what you say you care about. Maybe you're just using this as an identity to feed your narcissism, and you can't just go out there and be a complete narcissist, so you're gonna masquerade as an altruist, someone who protects the community, but you only do it when it benefits you, when you put out an album. Like, where's all this love for black women when Kamala was running for president?
Andrew's pissed with the hypocrisy of Kendrick, that's why he's making fun of him badly. After a little while, they got back on the same diss about Kendrick.
It could be I would use him as a whole body pillow. So I'd say, lay there rigor mortis, but I'm gonna put like your legs in between my legs. Do you know how like pregnant women sleep?
Like a waifu. That's your wife.
He's my waifu.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
But this is where he crosses the line.
Him hold his thighs together tight, make a little pussy out of that. Not put my dick where he doo-doos, Mark. That's disgusting.
That's gay
Make
also.
a little thigh pussy for me.
Yeah. Oh.
Squeeze it tight. You know what I mean? I would do that.
People were not fond of what Andrew did on this podcast and said that the lyrics could be targeting anyone. And some say that Kendrick's line was targeting Alex and Charlemagne rather than Andrew. But that's all we know right now, and Andrew's not backing up anytime now. Let us know in the comments what you think about the whole beef and who's at fault.